On Christmas Eve, a tired grocery cashier notices a delivery driver asleep in a laundromat while everyone looks away. When the owner dumps tiny pajamas onto the wet floor, she steps in, pays for the wash, then uses her rent envelope to get him a motel room. That costly kindness shifts the room and ripples through small, quiet gestures, even as both carry burdens they don't name. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hey, where are you tuning in from? Leave your country in the comments. I love seeing how far these stories reach. The washers droned, warm and steady. Their round windows blinked with soap and light. Salt crusted the mat by the door. A timer beeped, and no one moved. He slept in full view, head tipped back. The man sat on the plastic chair by the vending machine, hands stuffed into his brown jacket. A folded cart leaned against his knee. A backpack with frayed patches rested by his boot. People stepped around all of it like it was part of the floor. I came to wash my red work shirts. The store wanted us in bright color for the Christmas rush. My hands still smelled like oranges from stacking crates. I fed the machines 1 quarter at a time and glanced at the weather on my phone. My rent envelope sat in my tote. It rode everywhere with me like a quiet pet. The door banged open hard enough to shake the hangers. Cold rushed in with the sound of tires on slush and a far siren. The owner wedged the door with his boot and a roll of paper towels. His cap had frost on the bill. He was talking before the door shut. No sleeping. Not again. I told you. Rules are on the wall. Tiny rocket ships spilled onto the wet tile. He'd yanked the backpack straps, and his shirt fell out. Then a handful of small things. A pajama top with red cuffs. A matchless sock with a star on the ankle. The man woke too fast and reached for the bag. The owner pinned it with a thick hand. The TV in the corner showed a Christmas parade with floats and snow. The volume was low, but the crowd on the screen still cheered. No one on the chairs did. He went low and small, hands grabbing what he could. He made himself easy to miss. He slid a palm over the star sock, tucked it under his jacket. He said okay under his breath and nodded. His beard shone a little where the heat hit it. He looked about my age, maybe a little older, but he moved like he had learned to be less. I heard my own voice before I felt brave. "He's washing," I said. The words sounded flat in the tile room. The owner stared at me like I was gum on his shoe. "I'll pay for his cycles. He's a customer. Let him sit." My heartbeat ticked in my throat. The man kept his eyes on the floor. He was bracing for something to land. I fed 3 machines all the quarters I had. I scooped the rocket chips and the little socks and the work shirts that were not little. I stuffed them into drums and shut the doors. Buttons clicked under my thumb. The owner huffed. He looked around at the other people to see if anyone would nod his way. A guy in a puffy coat picked up a tiny pillowcase and handed it to me. A teen with chipped blue nails wrung out a pajama sleeve and slipped it into the water. The owner made a show of checking a fuse box, but he left the backpack alone. The rent envelope burned against my hip. I could feel the paper through canvas and denim, which is canvas and denim. The man had his chin tucked. "You have a place to sleep?" I asked. My voice came out soft. He gave a half laugh that was not funny. "Truck." He did not look at me when he said it. "I have 2 kids. I see them in the morning. Their mom lives out by the freeway." He rubbed his eyes hard. I thought about the envelope. I thought about the list on my fridge. Gas, rent, heat. A note from my landlord that said by the 26th. I thought about rules on walls and about tiny red cuffs. "Come on," I heard myself say. "Let's get you a room." We walked into the blue night and our cheeks shocked at the air. The laundromat windows steamed behind us. The TV parade went on without us. My car was parked under a dead streetlight. It is a red sedan with a dull hood and a yellow engine light that lives to glow. I scraped the windshield with a store card. Ice came away in tiny sails. He stood a little to the side like he was ready to step back if I changed my mind. His jacket had a stitched badge from a company I knew, brown with a name in white. The hem was frayed. He kept saying, "It's fine, I can go back to the lot." I started the car and turned the heat to high. The clerk slid a key across without raising his eyes. The motel lobby had a fake wreath and a plastic tree lit in blue. A bowl held 2 wrapped candies and a sign said, "No cash discount." I put the envelope on the counter. The money felt heavier than paper. 2 nights, I said. My mouth was dry. The clerk typed with 2 fingers and did not ask questions. He took the bills and did math on a pad. The pen had a snowflake glued to it. He gave me a receipt and the key. I set the key in the man's hand. He closed his fist around it like metal could melt. He did not give me a speech. He just looked at me for the first time and nodded. In that look were about 10 things he had no good words for. "I'll be back to switch the laundry," I said. He said, "Okay." Almost a whisper. He wiped his face with his sleeve like he was cold. When we came back for the last dryer cycle, the room felt different. No one said anything sharp. The hum pressed close, like the sound might keep us warm. The owner was mopping slow arcs, the kind you do when no one is making you. He glanced at the man and at me. He set the mop bucket under a leak and put down a chair for anyone to sit. The teen with blue nails was making paper snowflakes out of a receipt roll. She taped them to the window where the red open sign glowed. Someone had taped 2 bus passes to the corkboard. A note said, "Take what you need, leave what you can." A roll of quarters sat on top of a washer with another note, "For last loads." An older woman with a church hat came in with a bag of mittens and set them by the door. "Lost and found," she said, to no one and everyone. The owner took down a bright yellow "No Loitering" sign and slid it under the counter. He didn't put up anything else. The TV had a movie now. A man, a big city, a plan. The room laughed one time at the same line. He told me in pieces, like he was folding a shirt. He had started at the warehouse when he was 19. He got the route last year and it felt like work that had a shape. Last month he clipped a mailbox with the truck and they cut his hours. He slept in the cab when he could not make rent and told his kids it was long nights. He was washing donation bin pajamas because his daughter loved rockets and his son liked stars. "They smell like other people's houses," he said. "Not mad, just tired. I wanted them to smell like dryer sheets and heat." I did not tell him about my landlord's texts. He did not ask where the money came from. We swapped small facts like we were trading cards. My brother was sleeping on my couch between shifts. The baby's crib in my hallway holds my laundry, not a baby. The car wheezes when I start it. The holidays make work longer and rent tighter. We kept it to facts. No one owed anyone a speech. Heat is not just numbers on a wall. It is a room where a stranger can close his eyes for 6 minutes without someone tugging a bag. It is a mop bucket under a leak, so no one slips. It is a bus pass with no name on it. It is a key on a ring, heavy for its size. It is a person saying, "Come on," and meaning it. Snow floated in the cone of the street light outside the motel, slow and patient. I parked where I could see the second floor. A curtain in one room stood open an inch. Warmth made a wobble in the glass. A pair of tiny socks hung over the heater vent, 2 small commas in a line. The keycard sleeve sat propped on the table by the window, edge catching the light. I rested my forehead on the steering wheel. The dryer sheet smell had followed me into the car. On the seat beside me, my red work shirts were warm and ready. The engine light glowed, steady as a star. I watched the snow pickets laying in the air, and for one long minute the night let us both be.